What's up, y'all?
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
More watch.
More Watts.
More Watts podcast.
More Watts podcast.
Is it the More Watts podcast or just More Watts for people that don't know?
More watch.
More Watts. But
All
it's
right.
a podcast. So.
But it is a podcast.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for joining us again. We appreciate all the love we've been getting, whether it's through YouTube, please subscribe.
Yes.
Spotify, please subscribe.
Do that too.
Instagram, please follow us.
You already know what it is.
Am I missing something? SoundCloud, please follow us.
Yes.
Or
Follow
if you
us
see
on
us in Strava,
Yeah.
you can join us on Zwift. If you search Black Watts Cycling on Zwift, we on there. Lighten up the streets of Zwift.
I like the in-person love better, the most. Like,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Last shit
Well,
fire.
for those of you that are across the country or across the world that tune in. But for those of you that are new, I'm Chris, a.k.a. Tron Rides on IG.
I'm Chad. Follow me on IG, Chad Ben It.
It's you can follow me at Black Watch Cycling on IG.
So easy.
It's so
It's
easy.
like, yo, we're how many episodes in and we always laugh at
Right,
this.
because it's always funny because it's like, no IG out.
It's always hilarious.
It is.
It's just what it is.
But yes, one thing I do want to mention, we're doing something super special because we're actually trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're actually going to do a giveaway of a hammerhead once we hit 1,000. Once we hit 1,000, all of the 1,000 subscribers will have a chance to win a new hammerhead bike computer.
Yeah,
We'll
brand
do a
new,
raffle.
We'll
It'll
do a
be-
raffle.
fresh, new in the box, all that.
Yeah, no plastic off of it. We ain't use it. We ain't fall and try to replace it.
No.
This
Wait,
is
but
for
why
y'all.
is that a thing? Why y'all bring that up like this?
I'm
I'm saying I feel like that may be a slight against me because I'm return king.
returning products.
I stay returning products.
No, this
Chris
is-
will return a product in a heartbeat.
I would. If it ain't working for me, it's going back. It's going back.
I respect that.
Yeah.
So yes, please subscribe to our YouTube. The link is at the bottom right here.
Yeah.
And hit us up. Comment, like, subscribe. We appreciate y'all.
Tell some folks, man.
Yeah.
Pass
you
the
know.
word around.
So, but yeah, I want to just take a second to recap. Which episode was it? 4?
It's 4.
Yeah,
4.
episode 4. We caused some trouble.
We did. Well, you know what it was? I don't think it was trouble, right? So what we're talking about is episode 4. You know, got some folks talking because we were, and specifically when we were talking about the bike industry and some things that we think need to change. I mean, you know, like we still stand by everything that we said because
I'm not taking shit back.
these are our experiences.
Sorry.
These are our experiences, and also just the way we would approach the business coming from, you know, different industries, right? Because we think that there's a lot of ways that the cycling industry as a whole can adapt and adopt a ton of things that are working in other industries.
In episode 4, we were, just openly speaking about the state of the industry from our perspective. We're not, work for any of these bike companies or apparel companies or whatever, but we are end users or consumers in that manner. And so are most of the people that we know. Like everybody that we know in cycling some kind of way is an end user, whether you buy a bike, apparel, whatever. And our perspective counts, if not the most. Like that perspective counts the most. So and that's where we were at with it. Those are the things that we spoke about. And we stand by that stuff, man.
Absolutely. And if you think our perspective doesn't count, that's exactly what's wrong with the industry today. I'm just being honest with you. That's exactly the problem, is that, you've been operating in this archaic matter for decades. And now that, you've had an opportunity to hear 3 gentlemen speak on behalf of their perspective with the cycling industry, it's a problem for you.
Yeah.
And like instead of taking opportunity to step back and kind of hear our perspective and just, just kind of like disregard it. Like, these guys don't know what they're talking about. I think it's a missed opportunity for open dialogue.
Yeah.
Because no one directly has come to us and said what they disagreed with.
But we heard through secondary parties.
That's trash.
It may be, but look, what I'll say is we're open to all dialogue.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, so if you ever want to have a conversation with us, you want to share some light on some things that we aren't as knowledgeable about, if you want to give us some history, because by the way, there are things, I totally get it, that there are some things in certain industries that are just pain points that are difficult to get around.
Right.
Like there's just some things that it's just hard to get around due to the nature of how the industry is currently constructed and how supply chains work and a bunch of other things.
Speaking of those things, shouldn't ruffle feathers though. So even if there are pain points, then just because they get bought up shouldn't upset the industry insiders. I do want to say that there were several people that were, just like us, that are end users that made comments on Instagram, and I just want to shout those people out. Like, they were speaking on, yes, there needs to be people in the room. It needs to be black women in the room, and that's a fact. So we meant period. Like, whoever needs to be in that space to guide these corporations to the at least down a path that we can look at and be like, all right, that's what's up. They were speaking on that, like there needs to be those people in the room, and we agree.
Yeah, we need more black women cycling. Period.
Yeah.
Because that just helps the sport. It's a double whammy when you have someone black, and then you have someone that's a black woman. In the sport.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and not only that, like, we're pro-black, right? Like, we are for things that benefit the black community, but that doesn't mean that we are anti any other community, right? Like, so the room needs to represent the cycling community. And I don't mean like in terms of strict numbers, like, well, African Americans or black Americans make up 18% of the population, so 18% of the people that are on the board, 18% of the people that are in the C-suite. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is actually different than that. If you're trying to reach a community, then that community needs to be overwhelmingly represented in that outreach to that community.
Especially since when you reach that community, the translation is if you're trying to get dollars out of this community, then and you're marketing to them specifically, but you're not using that same community base to advise you on how to, or like what that language is or what that culture speaks about, then I just think you're bugging out. And when we talk about it, we're saying it in a helpful manner. Like, you probably need to do X, Y, and Z. It's not a condemnation. It's like, yo, you're messing up, bro. Like,
you're messing up.
Like,
but again, because we're pro-black doesn't mean that if you're not black that you can't join Black Watch Cycling Club. It does not mean that you can't ride with us. It does not mean that we don't have open arms and welcome you with love and nothing but good tidings.
Yeah.
So please don't confuse the two things, right? Like, I can love my culture, I can love my people, I can love myself, and it's not an affront to anyone else.
Yeah, Black Watts is a representation of inclusivity in the cycling community. Not exclusivity.
Right.
So like, when we talk about these things, it's because we want to see a broader audience amongst people on the road, not saying we want just black people on the road cycling.
Correct.
So don't get it fucked up.
That's some real shit.
Yeah, like, because I think that's the issue that's the problem that we're seeing from our perspective, is that when we say things like, yo, we need more black people in the room, it's because, one, there are none in the room. And when you look at the table of people making decisions at these brands, not just cycling brands.
Period. Yeah.
Just period.
And I think we made that clear. We gave examples across the board, different industries, different. Like,
we made that very clear. Ark, sorry, we made that very clear in the what we heard from the people that had challenges with our podcast was they were so hyper focused in on the cycling facts and were totally oblivious to the idea of what we were saying was, yo, we need more inclusivity amongst the industry, and the reason why there isn't and why things are looking the way they are in the industry is because it doesn't exist. Like, someone had an issue with, we talked about margins, and you can't get around the fact that no matter when you go to a car dealership or you go to a bike shop, someone is always going to ask for a discount. Period. Because the justification for the price isn't very clear. There's no consultation. There's no education. Yeah. And so it leads people to the idea of that there's something being hidden in the price of the bike. And so the whole point of the platform that we've presented, which is the More Watts podcast, is to educate the consumers to understand the cost of the business. And so if there's no transparency and there's no communication, yes, someone's going to walk in and ask for a discount.
Yeah, and by the way, and,
car, bike,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And we understand that we're in a capitalist economy, right? Like, so profit is going to be bundled in, right? So I'm always of the attitude of, if we're talking about a product that's driven for profit's sake, then I just make the decision of yes or no. Like, it's either for me or it's not.
Right.
Right. Like, so I don't. Your profit margin is your profit margin. Like, the profits that you need to build in are just that. And you have your rationale as to why that needs to be there. It could be shareholder value. It could be, C-suite payments. It could be, staff equity. It can be whatever you decide you want it to be.
Right.
So that's not lost on us. But when we talk about transparency and pricing, what we don't understand is how bikes in 2019 cost a certain amount, but same bikes in 2022 that have not changed. The frames have not changed. And again, we're talking across the entire industry. There are many manufacturers that have made very small changes to their frames and have increased the price. Manufacturers of wheels that have made small changes to their wheels, but increased the price 20, 30%. And we've been told when asked, and that's because of who we are, right? That it's, supply, it's supply, right? Like the supply has gone up because of COVID, right? I'm sorry, the demand for certain things has gone up because of COVID, or all the new riders that have come in, and the cost of said materials has gone up because of COVID. So we get it. We even get the inflationary costs, but it'll be helpful if we could understand and see that.
The reason why the average consumer, when they go out to eat, spend money on 5-star restaurants or farm to table is because there's a level of trust and understanding that the food that they're eating is pure. It's grass-fed, it's locally grown. You understand there's a cost behind that, and it's typically listed on the menu. I don't eat beef, but if you go eat at a 5-star restaurant and you're getting a Wagyu steak, it is an understanding that steak is coming from somewhere of high quality. It's grass fed.
Yeah. It's how the animal was taken care of.
It's how the animal was taken care of.
Yeah. That where it's coming from, the transport. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff.
A whole bunch of stuff, right? But we understand that there's a level of transparency that has been shown on the menu, right? In most cases, that makes you say, okay, I've spent X amount of dollars for that steak. That is what's missing from the bike industry. And if I were to compare the bike industry to the automotive industry, at least in the automotive industry, there's a breakdown of cost.
That's true.
Yeah.
They do on your sticker.
Yeah, on your sticker.
You do see what all the other, you see what's included in the main cost, and then you see all the add-ons.
Yeah.
That is true.
You see all the add-ons. That is not what's happening. You don't know why this bike costs $14,000. You just know it's top end. You don't understand what the group set cost. You don't understand what the wheels cost. You don't understand what the chain cost, the tire.
Yo, can I put somebody on the board right quick? I'll put somebody on the Summer Jam screen. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I think it's understood that it's clearly somewhat of a luxury item, right? It's not in every. There are bikes can be, commuter bikes can be, but what we're speaking of and. The rides that we're doing and the people that we come across, clearly these items are somewhat of a luxury item. It still doesn't, the justification just for that price tag still needs to be.
It
needs to be clear. That's all. If you go to buy a car, yes, there's an MSRP. Obviously, the man selling the car has to get paid. So there's some play there.
Yes,
you can
absolutely.
move around with
Profit has
the
to
money.
Be built in. Yeah. But yo, who I want to, here's what I want to put on the Summer Jam screen. Let's talk about Specialized and their LA Sprint. This is the most egregious, right? This is the most egregious because shout out to Canyon, Trek, Giant. There are a few. I think Cannondale has done a good job. I think BMC, for the most part, has done a good job of keeping their bike pricing pretty, talking about frames, like when you buy raw frames, right? Because, the big manufacturers of the bicycles, they still have to get their parts from every place else.
Of course.
I want to bring up Specialized because the LA Sprint, when I got my first bike in June of 2020, the LA Sprint with disc brake frame, not one of the special artist frame editions, was $1,500. The artist editions were like $1,800 to $1,900. Ask me how much the LA Sprint frame is right now. Go ahead. The new one, just the frame.
But it's carbon, yes?
It was always carbon. No, it's not. It's aluminum. It's aluminum.
It still is?
Isn't it $35?
$3,300.
Oh, it's integrated and the welding is different. I mean, no, I'm just saying that's the
listen.
That's what that
justifies the cost.
And so, but what I'm saying is like, so this is what we're talking about, right? Like how Specialized took a bike that was beloved. People who race criteriums love the LA Sprint, like they love the Cat 13.
We about to piss somebody off.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah.
Bro, but this is the best example of that because it's the most egregious. I was asked by someone on a group ride who was thinking about getting a bike. And they were like, yeah, we talked about different manufacturers. He's like, I think I'm going to get a Specialized. And we were talking about different Specialized bikes. And he was like, wait, my cousin bought this bike and it was like, $2,500 or whatever for the LA Sprint, right? He's like, now, but for me to buy the same bike, it's like $5,500. And I said, well, shit, the change in price is the frame. The frame doubled in price.
Because the components still cost the same.
Hold on. Let's also put Shimano up there, right? Shimano has done away with mechanical group sets. Why? We don't know. Okay, I think profit margins are an issue there. Okay, fine. Their 105 electronic group set is so fucking expensive. Their 105 is like their base. Okay, yes, they got Tiagra, they got the trashy stuff, but I mean like a high quality, really good Grupo.
Yeah.
Their 105 electronic group set is absurdly expensive.
It is.
Versus remember, it's going from mechanical. The Dura-Ace mechanical and the Dura-Ace electronic, there was a difference in price, but the mechanical 105 was like a few $100s. Now it's like $2,800.
And it makes you question the full price of a bike.
Yes.
Like if you're gonna get the new Ultegra group set with an aluminum frame, you're looking like, I might just go get this carbon frame over here. This full setup carbon bike.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it easy for you to make the decision on whether you should go aluminum or carbon, because you could always find a full setup on carbon as opposed to aluminum.
And I'm just saying, right, like, things like tires, there's pricing pressure. You can only go so much. You can't charge $250 for a tire, per tire. Like, nobody's going to buy it. It's going to be a revolt in the streets. They're going to burn your tires like the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to happen. But because you need group sets, right? And again, the 105 is supposed to be the lowest price. So automatically, if the 105 group set is costing the manufacturer who's buying it directly B2B, doubled or tripled in price, that's going to end up being on the bike. It's going to. That's why it's cheaper now to just buy the whole bike, because when you try to buy the requisite parts, if you're just starting off fresh, it's ridiculous.
I think that Sprint, the new one at least, was I believe they tried to capitalize on the market push for people who run criteriums, were looking for used frames or looking for allays the whole time for a big
double the price. Damn,
it is. I mean, they added some technology to it. At least they called it that. I'm not sure.
Is that technology?
They just changed the
or is that a
if you integrate
enhancement?
Come on, man.
I'll try y'all, baby.
Come on,
if they integrated it, I don't. Hey, as far as the when people start turning up on prices, they're gonna give you a reason why. They're gonna give you a salesman reason why, and then there's an actual reason why. Whether it's justified or not, that's what it is. That's what it is out in the streets. It costs this much money. You trying to buy it or not? And I can't. If you call it egregious, yeah, but to me, it plays itself out so people could be like, I'm not rocking with that. I want us to be informed and make the decision. And be like, man, later for that bullshit.
But it hurts the bike shops, the independent bike shops that are putting because Specialized does a phenomenal job at marketing, right? And so like all these independent owned bike shops are putting Allay sprints in the bike shop, and now you've got this Allay sprint over here, aluminum, and then you've got this other manufacturer that's carbon with the same price point. How do you justify that? Someone who's not a crit user.
There we go. That's what I was gonna say.
You know, someone who's not a crit user and someone that says, "Look, I'm looking to casually start riding. My budget is $4,000. You've got this Allay Sprint that's 35, and you've got this baseline Amanda. What is it? The SL?
Yeah.
Right? SL?
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah. And it's the same price, right? Around the same price.
No, Trek is cheaper.
No, it's for
the ALR is cheaper.
ALR, yeah. Oh, you mean yes.
Like the baseline carbon.
Yes.
So like, you're independent. You're not for Trek or Specialized.
You just have a bike shop.
You just have a bike shop. Which one are you pushing?
The one that'll be easy to sell.
Or the one with the greater margin.
Oh,
I'm a bike shop. That's it. That's my only. What else? I mean, I'm
shaking the table.
Yeah, no. Meaning I might be loyal to like some either whether you're a small bike shop, but you may have like, listen, I got a rep from Specialized. I get Specialized. I can get those bikes, whatever the case is. So you might not be like, I'm brand specific. You might not be, but you might have a loyalty to it. But if you're just an independent bike shop, then of course, like, why would that can't be wrong? I'm looking for the greatest margin. Where is that going to come from? Which one of these bikes is going to give me that? And I know we spoke about that, and we got a little pushback, like, you guys don't know. Like, I don't have to know your insider trade secrets to know. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm shopping for something, I know what's best for me. So that's the only thing I really need to be aware of.
I don't really want to know your margins, to be honest with you. I just want you to put me on the best option.
Yeah.
As a consumer.
Yeah.
Period. It's got nothing to do with anything else. At the end of the day, when we strip all this away, we're still consumers. We all own our businesses, but we're in business because what? We understand that there needs to be a margin in whatever we're offering as a product.
Yeah.
So we understand that piece. We're not dumb to that.
We need to make money.
Yeah, we need to make money, or else we can't buy the bikes. But anyways, the whole point is, you have to talk to the consumers and have a level of transparency in whatever you're selling, not just bikes.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was one of the points that we were making, but also the second point, which we've been talking about forever, was inclusivity in the cycling industry. Yes. Like, when you're not speaking to a specific consumer, you're actually losing. Like, you're losing this battle, because when we look in the next 15 or 20 years, we're all going to look like vastly like the same.
Oh, you mean just the demographic makeup?
Yeah, the demographic makeup, we're all going to look the same.
Yeah.
So as a brand, if you're not speaking to us, if you're not even attempting to speak to us, you're losing.
Yeah. Oh, and one point of correction. Specialized has corrected the price on, I just checked. Specialized corrected the price on the Sprint. Now it's $1,800.
For the frame?
For the frame.
Okay, so you're still spending about $4,000 with the group set.
Yeah, with the group set, you're still spending about. I mean, they have their comp version, I think, which is like 33. But I remember I'm speaking from when it first came out, it was wildly expensive. So
Chris trying to prevent himself from getting beat up.
No. But because I self-corrected here because I'm sending the message that we just want to give factual information.
Yeah,
that's it, right? Like, we're not out to be like, gotcha, like, that's not it. But the larger messaging is that transparency helps, right? That it, within that transparency, understanding that the group set that you have is changing the pricing of the bike matters. And we're talking about for people who just got their bike from, a hand-me-down bike possibly, or just was riding whatever was available because they got it as a gift from a family member or something that was affordable, and now they've been cycling, they want to go to that next bike. It's intimidating at that price point is mid four figures.
Yeah, sometimes
$5,000, $6,000 for a bicycle is intimidating.
Sometimes,
yeah.
sometimes it's a little bit of advice, even if you can stomach it, or the time that it takes to do so. But sometimes, like sourcing the parts and putting your bike together yourself may turn out to be a better option.
Yeah,
for
it
people.
could be.
I actually enjoy that as an option, like just getting the frame and building it myself to understand the cost of things.
Yeah. And good local bike shops will talk to you about that. Meaning that you don't have to do it, but if you go in, good local bike shops will say, "What's your price point? All right, here are some options that I can have for you." Like the really good ones will say, "All right, we'll take a little bit of this, we'll take a little bit of that, we'll take a little bit of this." The not so good local bike shops will just be like, "Well, this is what I got.
Yeah.
It's already put together on the floor. You buying it or nah?" Right? So, so also what I don't want to get lost is that we were talking about inclusivity and having more people in a room.
Yeah.
Right? Having a more diverse room.
That's the motto, baby.
It has to be there. It has to be there.
Yeah. To bring it home for y'all, did both of y'all save for your first car?
Save up?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I bought my first car myself in high school.
How much? How much was it? If you
$1,000.
How hard was it for you to reach that $1,000?
Oh my God, that shit took like 4 years, son.
So you have to understand. Yeah. So you have to understand,
Like basically, I got it my senior year, right? Like I was working my little summer job. Putting a little bit aside.
So you gotta understand,
Stealing
for
the
someone to spend $13,000 on a bike versus the hard work you put in to get to $1,000 in the car. You understand where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
That's it's a hard pill to swallow.
It is.
To make a purchase of that magnitude, especially for us that live in the Northeast, where we can only ride our bike for maybe 8 months out of the year.
Yes, you're being generous.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, for the average rider.
This is how I know y'all love cycling. When I see you outside, I already know you love it because I know what you spent on that bike.
Yeah.
And it's a leisure item. Like you spent some bread just to be like, yeah, this is just for my sanity, for my peace of mind. Like I love it. Yeah, I know you love it.
So that means that when you take the step to spend that even if it's $3,000, right?
What? Hell yeah.
That means that you're investing into this industry. And if you made that step, the doors should be open. It should be hallelujah music playing. The sun should come out, and it should be like people welcoming you in, like, come on in.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, thank you for joining us, and it should always feel like that.
Yeah.
Right? Can I transition to all clubs? I was gonna make
as long as y'all not mad at us no more.
Oh yeah.
Like come talk to us.
Come talk to us. No, seriously. Like if you want to have more dialogue about this, about the industry, like how, again, not pricing in the industry, because we don't run pricing models for you.
Yeah.
Right? But how consumers receive, like particularly new consumers.
Yeah.
Right. Even those of us that have the resources, right? Like it's still expensive.
No, but the learning curve is there. It doesn't matter, like from us who even when we just first started or just entered into the game, the learning curve from the amount of information learned from that point to now
Oh my God,
is ridiculous. And it's only been a little bit of time, but there's that much to learn. So
that much to learn.
Yeah, if you're just stepping into it or what have you, us or anybody that's knowledgeable, just please seek that out.
Yeah.
But I just want to say to people who drop comments and engage with us on that particular topic, whether you agree, disagree, please, by all means. I mean,
yeah, we're definitely open to the dialogue.
Email us
info@blackwatts.cc.
Hit us on IG, DM us individually, however you want to do it.
Please
do.
We're here for all the discussion and the dialogue.
Keep sending those links via text message. I only ask that you subscribe once you watch the video. But also, if you're going to have an open dialogue about the things that we're discussing, please don't let this be the only episode that you've watched. Like, please go back and watch some of our episodes from season 1.
Yeah, we talked about it before.
These aren't new topics for us. We're just going more in depth with them. Yeah. So we just only ask that while you're expecting us to have a breadth of knowledge about what we're talking about, you have a breadth of knowledge about what we're speaking about on our podcast.
Yeah, and our point of view, right?
And our point of view.
You really try to take into account what our point of view is based on who we are. Even though there are 3 of us, we're not a monolith. We're not the same, right? Like, so how we each have come into the industry is different. So, so we're here for it. Hit us up.
Please do.
Bong. All right.
Right. So no, what I was going to transition from that to was about all clubs.
Yeah,
Because
Chris went out there by himself. By the way,
myself.
Sure did.
Yo,
by
word.
myself.
By myself. I was definitely out there, and I know you guys probably have a few questions for me, but Bahati made a comment in his keynote address saying that all bike clubs are needed, right? We need not just one or two massive clubs. We need a lot of clubs because that's what provides strength in the industry. And to tie it back to what we were just saying, if someone just purchased a bike, they should be able to see themselves represented in some shape, form, or fashion in the industry, in industry marketing, and how things are positioned to them. And hopefully there's a club out there that can welcome them in so they can continue their cycling journey.
For sure.
Yeah. Before you dive in, because that brings up a really interesting thought that I'm having, is that I notice a lot of brands focusing on race teams. And to that point, I think brands to start to focus on clubs and represent clubs in the industry.
There's far more people here.
There's far more people, and there's a far greater connection that could be had. So that's just the thought that for the brands that are out there, like find a club that you can connect with, and
or really, 3 or 4.
Or 3 or 4. Yeah, it doesn't have to be one, but find a club that you can connect with and push the brand.
Yeah, because it's okay. I'll say this last bit. The sneaker industry has shown you the way. So you're not recreating the wheel. Like Nike wouldn't be Nike.
Wait, we're not allowed to mention Nike's connection to cycling.
Oh my God, yes.
We're not?
Somebody said that. Somebody said that to us. But the way they do the grassroots marketing by providing product to AAU teams, to high school teams, to college teams, like all that matters more than just what's worn on the professional floor. It is. Like Kyrie's shoe does so well because his takedown model and the price point can be purchased by 13-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and 11-year-olds at $50.
Yep.
Right? Like, so, and Kyrie's their favorite player and they want to play like Kyrie, but it's there.
It was.
And the whole AAU team has them.
It was there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. Yo, given we had the proper resources for Black Watts, man, listen.
You don't even understand what we be doing out here. Holler at us, man. Come on. We taking seed money. Come on.
But yes, circling back on all clubs, like take us through that experience for those that didn't go.
Yeah.
Like you land in LA.
Well, mine was kind of hectic because I had to teach that night. So I had to rush to the hotel, which was in Long Beach, by the way. Long Beach is a beautiful city.
But the airport's not far from Long Beach.
It's about 30 minutes.
Okay.
It's about 30 minutes. About 45 minutes to an hour or so with traffic because, traffic is still traffic in LA, which is ridiculous, but we'll talk about that another time. Got to the hotel. Check-in wasn't real smooth. That's not on the club. That's just the hotel wasn't up on their game with it. But once I checked in and everything, it was lovely. Now, it was the real love is to walk into the hotel and just see so many people that I've been seeing traveling with my bike, right? Like, people like, yo, Chris, what's up? Or they don't know my name, like, yo, what's up, Black Watts? Like that.
What's up, Black Watts?
Did you get called Chad once?
I did get called Chad once. Shout out to Karan from KRT. We were on a ride. I know he knows my name, but it was so funny because he was like, damn, man, I didn't mean to call you Chad. I was like, bro, it happens all the time. Happens all the time.
All the time.
Happens all the time. But we, like arriving, seeing Mr. Carter, like just seeing like Jenna and like Tay and KD, like just people that you see a lot, like you begin to form these bonds with them. And it's almost like you've been apart, but as soon as you come back together, it's like you never ended the conversation. The conversation just continued.
Like a family reunion.
Yeah. And it's so much love in a room and so many hugs and smiles, man. Like just on that initial greeting, I can't even put into words how heartwarming it feels. And then the next day was Friday morning. It was brisk.
How many degrees?
It was like 40. Chad would have been challenged.
No, I would have been home.
You would have been challenged, bro.
He went outside with a camera like, I got y'all.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. With his coat.
I turned into media man.
But it was cold. It was like in the low 40s pretty much for the vast majority of the ride. And then it warmed up to maybe mid 50s.
Okay.
But they had a tent there. LA Bike Connection, I think it's the name of that. Please, I'm sorry if I'm not remembering correctly. A small local bike shop, LA Bike Academy, I think, yes. Local bike shop and group that does things to help foster and grow the cycling in the local communities there for Black and brown youth and underprivileged youth, I believe. They have a team. They do tons of things to bring people out on rides. So that was great. Giant had a follow car, which had they had tons of bike wheels in the car. Like people got flats, so that was love. Shout out to how Bahati and the entire team from all clubs kind of came together to every morning we got like a welcome address.
Is that who put on the whole event?
Yeah. So it was the name of the group is actually All Clubs. That's the name of it. They've been around since 2016. So
it's All Clubs is a bike club, a cycling club. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just the name of the event.
It's my understanding that it's a club that has an event.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I left with the impression of. They've been doing this since 2016, but every morning we got a welcome address calling out every single club that was in attendance. So that was dope, and just meeting people there, even though it was cold, collectively being cold, and we roll out that first ride on Friday was really, really cool. Riding to the first stop point, it got a little spicy. Always gets a little spicy, because you have so many different riding, demographics there, and rider types, I should say. So it got a little spicy. But when we got to the first stop point, which was happened to be a parking lot, we just the leadership group said, all right, we're going to break into, all right, this is going to be a more leisurely pace. And people that want to ride faster basically ride with the pros. So shout out to Sharon, and all the crew from Methods to Winning that were out there, that were holding us down. They're a strong group. Professionals are professionals for a reason.
Yes. Of course.
Yo, there was a homie who was like, man, we're going so slow. I want us to be at like 28 to 30. He was like legit, bro. And sure enough, we got some speed, baby. It was a nice push. It was very, very good. Relatively flat from the vast majority of the ride out to the real midpoint where it overlooked the water. It was just a great spot. We chilled there for like an hour. And then from there, the Methods to Winning group, that A group, we separated off and we did a little bit of climbs. We went to where Kobe's home was. We got to see some bad pathways that were near boardwalks and just near beach and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool to see.
What was that elevation in LA like compared to home? Yeah.
It's different, bro, because when we were like on the PCH for a bit, that's relatively flat. When we went to where Kobe was, that was like a climb, maybe 800 feet. Not crazy, maybe 4 or 5% grade. Not nothing crazy at all.
It's manageable though.
Very manageable, very doable. We took it easy going up there. Nobody's rushing up. We literally just were talking all the way up the hill. But
got some.
But they have sprint segments that they do that last for like 5 miles. We don't have that. Like they had like a segment where they really had us up to 30, 32 miles an hour for like 5 or 6 miles straight.
That's a long time.
That was intense. Fun as fuck, but intense. Intense.
What was your heart rate?
I got to about 175. My voice was cracking. I was like, "Oh shit, just hang on." But it was dope though. It was dope. Rolling turns. I had a couple of times I pulled, so that was pretty cool. But when on Saturday we went to the mountains, and that shit,
I got up
real.
Yeah.
We had like 5 to 7 mile climbs of different grades. So the first one was like 5 to maybe had some 10s in there.
Okay.
Call it average like a 7 or so. Nice switchbacks going up. Coming back down felt like you were coming down Alpe du Zwift. Like you just going down. Like, oh shit, I've been going down for like 7-8 minutes right now.
like some softer shit.
It's real. No, it wasn't that because it was like in a neighborhood. So even though we were going down, it was in a
wasn't hitting like 45, 50.
No. We got the 45.
Really?
Yeah. It was awesome.
Did you feel safe though, or were you like, oh shit, this car gonna pull out?
No. I felt totally safe because it was a nice 2 lanes. It was legit 2 lanes on the road, traffic going down. So we all stayed in the right lane. So it was cool. But it was good to see the pros hit them corners, though.
Did you super tuck at all?
Did not. Too afraid. Too afraid of the turns. But then the second climb we did of that day, that one was challenging. That one, we had some 13 or 14% pitches in there. That one probably averaged out to about 8. But it was, the views on this one were crazy. It was crazy. So I was with the front group for probably like 2 miles of the 7 or so. But then I was just like, I'm missing all the views. So like,
you like slowed down?
I slowed down, and there was a couple of homies that were riding with me. And I was like, y'all see these views, man? Look at this. This is like, I don't get to see this.
Yeah.
Right?
We just see trees.
Yeah, we just see trees. So, I mean, again, it was still neighborhood feel. So we weren't in the actual mountains. But just to go up and just to be able to see the ocean and the city and all that, man, like I really, really enjoyed it.
That's dope.
I enjoyed it a lot.
So that's day.
That's what I just described was a little bit of day 1 and day 2. Day 1 was the part of us where we went to like where Kobe lives, and then day 2 we went to the Liberty, the Freedom Bell, Korean Freedom Bell, Friendship Bell, I think maybe.
Yeah,
and that was good with Nelsonville and all those folks.
He was out there.
He was out there. He was out
dope.
there. Yeah, it was dope. And one of the homies that he raced with, I think, had passed or he knew of. So there was this guy who was representing him. He had like a blinged out silver glitter TT like bike, and he had homie's picture hanging on both sides of it. Yeah. Just kind of say I'm representing him out here. It was a Lotus, that old Lotus frame that we saw in at Shram's headquarters. Remember they were talking about that Lotus frame? Yeah. So he had that. And he was riding it. So going out to the Friendship Bell was really cool because it was really high up. You got beautiful views of the water, and then a group of us. Bahati took a group. Or the Methods of Winning crew, I should say, took a group of us away. That's where we did the climbing, the 5 to 7 mile climbs, and that was pretty dope.
Now you understand why they're so strong out there. Oh
man, and we didn't even go to GMR. That's a whole other climb, like mountainous, like for real mountainous climb. That's like, sheesh, you got to drive someplace. I think it's Glendora, I think, and then the climb is like 10 miles or 12 miles or something like that, I think. And it's crazy. And you got a couple of ways to come down, but they were like, the next time you come back, Chris, you got to do that climb. But that's like a day. Like,
a whole day dedicated to climb.
It's going to bust your ass.
I'm with it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with it. And you know, Kyle was like a kid in the candy store, man. We got
a friend, Kyle. Shout out to Kyle. He likes to just climb.
He loves to climb, man. He really, really enjoys climbing. And so he was like a pig in slop. Yeah. My grandmama would say, like, he was just so happy, man. So it was great. It was great. And then Sunday, there was like a picnic / barbecue. We just listened to good 80s, 70s, 90s music was playing. 2 food trucks.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was dope. And then the Philly crew was watching the Eagles game and all that, so it was dope.
Had your Frankie Beverly going?
I had the Frankie Beverly. I had the Mac 10. E40. Like, you know what I mean? We had some real West Coast music.
True West Coast.
True West Coast, old school, like 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, West Coast music was pumping, so it was nice, though.
Any learnings from this whole experience?
Yeah, like, one is that we need to do something like this on the East Coast. Like, and that traveling with your bike is an important experience to have because you really get to see how big the community is. You know, like, because you get a little bit of Memphis, you get a little bit of the Carolinas, you get a little bit of the Northeast, you get a little bit of the Midwest, a little bit of the West Coast. Because everybody kind of comes together at like Mac One Love, at all clubs, at Seagull Century. Like, there are some spots where people just kind of come together and have been coming together for maybe a generation of cyclists or so. And it's just good to you just see so many people, right? So yeah, you got your Go Fast A group. You're always going to have that, right?
The spicy side of things.
But it's just, when you do the camaraderie ride portion, you get to just talk to so many people. And then when you get off the bike, one of the things that all clubs did great is they had that panel. Friday afternoon was a panel, and it was a great panel. They talked about a number of things. I loved the Queens panel because we had women there speaking. I would have liked to have seen some women that have been riding for longer, because everyone up there, we all knew them, but they were basically new to riding within the last 4 or 5 years. Most of them were COVID cyclists that are now cycling. But I would have liked to have seen some OGs who had been riding for 10 years or so talk about some of the same topics that they were touching on. Zwift's headquarters is in Long Beach, so we rode past Zwift. Kate from Zwift was there, and she talked about Zwift's commitment to women and cycling and diversity in cycling. She's the head of like women's initiatives, so she was really talking about how Zwift has done things at a very large level with like the Tour de France and really trying to push women in cycling and equity with women in cycling, and how Zwift as a platform has created an environment where women have gotten more of a chance to show what they can do and to be showcased so that they can win pro contracts. So that was good to just hear her and what Zwift has been doing as a company and some of the cool things. So overall, man, it was love. But the off the bike aspect of it was dope. I met this dude, I can't think of his name. Sorry, brother, I can't remember your name, but he made his own wheels. He's just a tinkerer. He used to ride motorcycles.
Made his own wheels.
He literally made his own wheels.
Oh, that's dope.
Carbon joints.
Wow. Begin.
Bro, I was like, oh, so you're an engineer? He was like, nah, I just always you know how you get some people that are just didacts and they just pick up stuff and they just with it. So he used to make parts for motorcycles, and he just decided to make parts for wheels. So he was like, yeah, I ride my own wheels.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, man. Like,
I don't know if I got that level of trust in myself.
Bro, word.
In myself. I might even ride those, but ones I make.
Bro, it was dope talking to him, just hearing how his mind works. Like he is truly like an inventor. A tinkerer, like somebody who is just like, all right, cool. I like this. I don't like what I'm seeing, so I'm going to go ahead and make something that's catered to what I want it to be. So
those are the stories that need to be told.
Yes, absolutely. His story definitely needs to be told, because just in general, like he was a cool brother too. He was a really cool brother, tall, like maybe 6'4", 6'5". He had a size 62 bike. You know what I'm saying? But he was giving off a great draft too. So
of course.
So, yeah, no, but All Clubs was fantastic. I highly recommend.
Wait, you didn't really talk about the gala.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the gala. I didn't forget about it.
Didn't you put a tuxedo on?
I like to get dressed up, bro. And I ain't even bring out the swagginess, bro. Like I ain't bring out my slippers. You know what I'm saying? I kept it real easy with the patent leather Valentino. You know what I mean? I just kept it real simple.
Yeah.
Different.
But the gala was great. Oh my God, like it was so well done. Step and Repeat was great. Cash bar. I wish it wouldn't have been a cash bar, like literal cash. I wish they could have taken electronic payment, because not as many people just carry cash.
Yeah, I don't carry cash. Yeah.
But the setup inside, shout out to the AV crew. Shout out to the production crew. They had 2 big, gigantic screens. The stage was set nice. The dance floor was set nice. The speakers were great. I would have loved for one of the speakers to be someone new to the industry. Karan and KRT won an award. The current racers that were amongst us that won big during the season, they were recognized. Like Cherie won an award.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that was great, and they had live music.
Oh, that's dope.
It was a live band playing, and those ladies, let me tell you, listen, giving it up, bro.
Yeah.
Giving it up. It was a real vibe. It was a real vibe. So all in all, it was good. The food, gala food is gala food. You know what I mean? Like, so I try not to be too critical of the gala food, but in general, though, very well done, very smooth in how it all transpired and how I received it. I love the way the technical aspects of it were pulled off. Very, very good. The stage setup, the lighting setup, the audio visual setup was all on point. So shout out to everybody involved with All Clubs and how you guys pulled that off. That was dope.
So it sounds like you'll be back next year.
Oh yeah, and y'all coming too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Riding. He was telling me about the riding in LA. I was like, damn, I'm jealous as hell. So
yeah, I have FOMO for real.
Definitely.
Yes.
Just like timing.
Hey, shout out Lana for driving across the country, man. I seen that post and I was bugging like, nah, you can't be serious. So
she's still out there, I believe. So
yeah, she's spending some time out there.
Yeah, it's worse, like you can't just go out there and turn right back around. So shout out to her for that.
That's amazing.
Last question, and we can move on. there anything you wish you would have done more of, seen more of, or?
Yeah, I wish we had a little more time, because I understood what they were doing, where they were splitting up the day between on the bike and off the bike stuff. I wish we would have had more time to explore on the bike.
Because if you start a ride at 7, you could be done before noon, right?
Yeah, but we say 7. We probably leave at 8:15. We say 7:30, but we probably left about 8:15.
You should still be done before noon.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like,
you got from 12 all the way till nighttime to figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, but I would have liked for it to be like a 4-hour day on the bike, 5-hour day on the bike, including stops, right? But like, because there's just so much that I personally just wanted to see. Like, I wanted to go further down the PCH, right? Like, but I understand they're catering to
all different
levels of riders, so it's hard to really have the resources, like human resources, just to lead all these different rides. And I think the goal is to keep everybody together.
I can see that'd be tough.
Yeah, Ken, man, like, I didn't say this before, but I mentioned Bahadi's name a lot, but Ken is really the main point, man, for the whole thing. Like, he was the MC. He greeted us every morning. Like, he worked really hard on the back end of things with a lot of the folks with Bahadi and his other partner, but shout out to Ken, man. He's a very cool brother. Old school, but he's, you know what I mean? Like, but he's not like one of these like Bahadi's the racer of the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got a crew, like if 3 of us, Ak will be the racer. Like, he won all the awards or whatever, but we, and Ak stands alone in that. But collectively, when we work together, it's like, it really moves mountains. And that's what Ken was. Ken was definitely like the person who, he made a great point that I'm not sure a lot of people got. When he was speaking, he said, we want, as this community of cyclists that are here, when we partner with brands and companies, we want it to be a partnership. We don't want donations.
All right.
We want to be peers when we sit across the table. He said, because to me, donations, I'm paraphrasing, it's like you're handing something down, which means that you're elevated above who you're donating to. We want true partners where we see eye to eye. And that resonated with me, because that's how we feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been saying that since we entered the
whole industry, like since we started cycling.
The business of cycling.
And he's saying that, like, one of the things that was frustrating him, again, I'm paraphrasing, was that people want to donate. They don't want to, like, truly be partners. And he was like, for all of you in the audience that are a part of the C-suite, that are decision makers, that control budgets, look at what we can do. Like, there 350 of us here right now. And this is only a small microcosm of how big this is. If we got the resources that you have, imagine what can happen.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just overhearing y'all don't have resources. That's a lot.
Go ahead.
Chris is like cringing right now.
Chad. No, but it was all in all, though, it's a great event. And it's a great event because of when it comes in the season, right? It's the gala to kind of, it's weird because it kind of celebrates the season's accomplishments, but it's at the top of the calendar year.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so, but it, clearly, technically it's near the end of the cycling season.
Yeah, he's so right.
In January.
Ken is so right, man. Shout out to Ken. It just gives me confirmation, or us confirmation, that we not standing alone in this fight.
Not at all.
And like, yeah, there are many other people that feel the exact same way. So like, when we say things, it doesn't sound egregious.
No, it doesn't.
To the word Chris used earlier.
Yes. So shout out to all clubs, Ken and Bahadi and the rest of the team. Please forgive me if I'm leaving off your names. I'm not the best name person, but I'm great with faces. It was a very well done event. Very well done event.
Dope. And how many? I mean, I'm sure you can't remember all the clubs, but like, shout out those clubs, man. Yeah. Like,
sheesh, I should have. You know what? Next time I'm going to write all of y'all down, because I should have done that. There were probably, I want to say maybe 10 to 15
Different
clubs represented.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's dope. And that's not all the clubs. I know there's more clubs out there.
Not by far. But like from our side, we had Blood, Sweat, and Gears over there. So shout out KRT, QRT, of course. Us. Who else came from our side? Bank City.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like these are the East Coast folks that were out that way. But then you had the major tailors. You know, they always come with 4 or 5 different. So they were there. A couple of other West Coast related clubs were there. I think there was somebody there from Texas, but I can't remember the name of their club. But yeah, but it was very, very diverse. It was very, very diverse.
Dope. That's what's up, man. We'll be there next year.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come out.
Yeah, you got to come out, man. You got to come out. And shout out to Karan and KRT and QRT because they bring the youthful energy. They bring the youthful energy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you can always count on them to swag and surf. You know what I mean? Like,
wait, I can still swag and
I'm
surf.
just saying we can't, but you know what I mean?
We created the swag and surf.
We did. But just shout out to them and their energy and you know, they consistently show up and getting a good number of participants from their club. And I think, to me, what I loved about what he and his team have done was that they have really worked with their club members to get them to understand the importance of traveling with their bikes. Mm-hmm. So some of those folks, it was their first time traveling with their bikes to LA. So that was great, you know, and I want to say that all of the clubs that watch us, that see us, talk to your club members. Try to really get them to get a bike bag and put that bike in that bag and get on the road with their bike. And just pick one or two. Just choose one that fits your time. There's always going to be something that fits your schedule. And just get out there and meet the greater community.
Hell yeah. I hope it's Black Watts Day if you're going to travel.
Oh, yeah. Come see us. Definitely come see us.
Sure.
You know? That's happening
Father's
this year.
Day weekend. Yeah.
Father's Day weekend. We're going to make it exciting.
That's Saturday.
Add
come on out.
Some new things.
Some new things. So definitely come out. And, you know, we're going to work on some more things here so that we can try to make a multi-day event on the east side so that it can partner up with, like, all clubs.
Celebration.
Yeah.
I'm just not putting on a tux, bro.
Bro, you're going to put on a tux, bro. You're going to put on a suit, bro. You got to put on a suit.
Suit him up.
Nah, fam.
You got to put on a suit, bro. Then come in looking like, you know what I mean, with your Jordans on, whatever. It don't matter, bro, but we're going to have to get something dressy, bro.
Suited and booty with the ones on?
With the ones. Put it. It's your style, bro.
Nah, I'm not putting on no tux.
Man, I love getting dressed up.
I'm dressed up right now.
Nah, Chad, I'm talking about like, you know what I mean? Like women with the gowns on, you know what I'm saying? Fellas with the suits on, cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
Cleaned
Chris want the
up
hard
nice.
bottoms with the fur on right here. He want
Chris
buddy.
just wanted hard bombs, no socks. He want to show his ankles.
Show the ankles.
Do his little James Brown ankle.
Yes.
celebrate.
All right, we'll see. But I'm not putting on tux. But
Put a suit on with a t-shirt, bro. It's all good. Rock your style, man.
I do think we should be, you know, doing something on the East Coast. Figure out maybe if there's a way for us to partner with all clubs and make a East Coast version of it or something of that, and just celebrate the community.
Yeah,
you know. Yes. So, but are we wrapping? Is it time?
Yeah, it's about time.
Damn,
it's about time.
That happened real quick.
It did. So again, takeaways from this episodes: brands, companies. Diversify your bonds. Like diversify your rooms, like your teams, like have more people, not just people that ride bikes or just started riding bikes, but like actual people of color, like, you know, like Southeast Asians, black and brown people, you know, like just get us all in the room.
Transgender, non-binary, like all of these stories need to be told and heard.
I mean, I know not every brand is great with storytelling, right? Like some brands are better with storytelling than others. Some brands are better than marketing than others. But all of you make great products because vast majority of your products, if not all of your products, are showcased in one of the world tour races, men or women's. Like, so if you have those resources to provide the bikes for the equipment for those cyclists, you know, we're actually buying the same bikes too. Like, so we want to be seen in the marketing. we want to see you at the community events. We want to see you out on the local group rides. We want your presence to be felt because we're spending the dollars for it.
Absolutely. If you're able to tell a story, you're able to connect. There's an emotional connection between the story being told and the consumer. You know, like we always talk about, there's a reason why you see so many people wearing brands like Patagonia and the likes of, because there's a connection between, or Patagonia, Ben and Jerry's. Because there's this connection that's happening.
That's funny. The storytelling seems to be, at least from our perspective, seems to be just a greater tool or just wielded better by the smaller, like the larger the company, then it just seems like the storytelling gets not trashier, but y'all are maybe not just good at it.
It's trashier.
Right? Yeah, so
it's trashier.
If that's something that we talked about this last time, if you care to really get at the people that you're selling to and really want to talk to them, then the storytelling aspect, you could just look down at the smaller peers and just see what they're doing. Like they're doing a great job at it. And if it's something you know what I mean, you want help with or speak to the people about, yeah, we got it.
There's so many small sample sizes of ways for you to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you look at another industry that's kind of going through a very similar journey that you're on, like golf is one, and you see what golf has been doing over the years to attempt to integrate communities to the sport. You know, you look at what Jordan is doing with Eastside Golf and allowing them to kind of tell the story and share that there are other people besides white men that are playing golf. Yeah. You know, there's a whole community of black men through Eastside Golf that are playing golf, and they're wearing their chains, they're wearing their Jordans now. And you see this whole connection to the culture.
Yeah.
You know, now you got DJ Khaled playing golf. You got 50 Cent and Travis Scott playing golf. That would have not happened 20 years ago. So why can't the cycling industry connect to the culture? Could you imagine, you know, like if there was this connection to like Jay-Z on a bike? How many kids would be like, yo, Jay-Z's riding a bike. He's in tights. All right. If you have 2 Chainz carrying something that looks like a purse, I ain't gonna call it a purse, and it made it comfortable for other men to wear this crossbody bag. Then imagine what could happen if someone like a 2 Chainz was in cycling apparel. It would make it comfortable for this kid that's 18 years old to get on a bike and do the exact same thing.
Yeah, but they are in the boardroom like 2 Chainz. Who are you talking about? That's what I mean. You need somebody in the room, bro.
Exactly.
Y'all don't even know.
And look, I get it, right? Like, I'm glad you brought up golf because golf is in trouble. Like, it is the one sport that is dying on the vine. Once Tiger Woods,
they shouldn't be. They had the God. You know what I mean? Like how is it possible? How you downhill right now? It doesn't make sense.
But cycling though, there's so like you can draw a through line from like an easily storytell. It's always about when you got your first bike to when you were riding around with your buddies to when if you raced, if you didn't race, how you had a family or you moved on to a different part of adulting and then you came back to the bike or you never left the bike. Like it's so frustrating sometimes because it's so easy. Right? It's an easy lift. It really is an easy lift.
I think the correlation between like others, we said this before, but more to get more in depth with it, the correlation between a pro football player and then somebody who just likes to throw the ball around is like there's a great divide between that. Like, yes, you're a fan, but okay, whatever. But as far as like riding bikes, I can speak or storytell on a pro level and have the exact same impact or the same level impact if I come down here to the user and tell stories down here. Yes. It's the same thing. It doesn't happen with too many other sports, like where that one-to-one is there, where it's like the trade-off between pro and just a regular individual that rides, that the storytelling is the same, or that you could market the exact same. I could market you a football jersey because you're a fan of Patrick Mahomes, but I can't get you to be Patrick Mahomes at all, on no level. But I can market a pro, either crit rider or somebody who rides on a tour, and I can market to you the exact same way. I just don't see how that would be, why they would fail to do so.
Yeah, because there's so many stories to be told. So everyone's journey is completely different as to why they're on that bike.
Yeah.
Completely different.
And I believe the economics of it all makes sense, right? Like the ROI on it is really, yes, you can have some type of immediate impact in terms of how it can impact sales or, something like that. But brand value.
Yeah.
Like Coca-Cola's brand is so freaking strong.
That's a century in the making.
Yes. But they continue to tell stories. They continue to
that's
adjust.
what I mean. They've been doing it.
You know what I mean? Like Coke think about all the commercials that Coke has done, all the projects that Coke has done, and it has never stopped. I feel like at least from COVID until now, all the storytelling that I've seen throughout the cycling industry has been kind of the same. And it's been disjointed. There hasn't been like, okay, we told this story, now we're telling, like you're saying, the spectrum, right? Like these pros, these regular people, these people in the middle. There is the spectrum isn't ping-ponging around the spectrum, right? It's just these pros, these pros, these pros. And even, not even individual, right? Like, I mean, Peter Sagan had something with Specialized that they tried. I don't know how successful it was, but usually they just talk about the teams. It's almost like it's football. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not like it's like basketball where you see everybody and you can have some individuals, but it's like, fine, if you're going to tell the team story, but then tell the club story.
Right.
Or how did you get there? Like if you're a pro now, then you weren't always, or even if you were young. So then there must be some young kid that's attempting to become pro now. There's a story about him right now.
Well,
like the kids were speaking, that too. And the kids were talking about like that were highlighted for the HBCU, those guys that are on teams right now. Yeah, so I mean, they're just all over the place. If you just, got your head from out of that cloud and just come down to where these people are. Where the stories actually are. You look around like, oh shit, it's a lot going on, man.
It may be more work, right?
Because
you're not used to it, right? Like,
because you're right. You're 1,000% right. It's more brain power. Yeah. But I think just like from a social perspective, just posting the bike on your social page and expecting that to just wow people to go buy is gonna get old real quick. It is.
You see that new? You see what I did with the chain? Yeah. You see what I did? Like,
like the hyper focus on the bike is going to get old as more people enter the cycling industry, and like we want some sort of human connection to these brands. Mm-hmm. Like people think some of these brands have like 20 floor offices, and they're not. They're in really small buildings, and there's like 80 people that work there, and so like that's the disconnect.
Global.
Yeah, for a global
major cycling brand.
Yeah, that is the disconnect. And I think if there's a human connection, then you're allowing people to kind of be front row. Everyone wants to be front row. You're allowing people to be front row and center into the brand. That is what we all want as end consumers. So when you're not talking to us, you're making us feel like we're in the nosebleeds, and nobody likes to feel like they're in the nosebleeds on anything.
Not at all.
So
do better.
Do better.
That's on y'all, man.
We're here to help.
That's on you.
But the three of us are here to help. Like we have ideas. We interact with people. Yes, we're not 25 years deep into the industry.
But that's the beauty in it, though.
I don't believe that you need to be.
No, right? That's the beauty in it.
If we were, perhaps then the ideas or the concepts or the vision would be stale. If you were just that deep into it, like, or you would just come with 25 years worth of bias and you couldn't maybe see clear. And even if it's not super clear, it's just a different perspective. And to add on, for me to be able to collect a whole bunch of different perspectives and I can move forward with that information is far more valuable.
Yeah. I mean, look, and shout out to the people who have been in the industry for 25 years and have been preaching the same message that we're talking about.
Because I'm sure they're in there.
Yeah.
they mad as hell. Like, I'll be saying this, 20 years, everybody listening.
Right.
Hold up.
Yeah. I know we were supposed to end.
Yeah, we should end.
We went on another rant.
We did.
That's because we're so passionate about this.
It's a real topic, man.
Yeah, it's a real topic, and we would love to continue the dialogue. just hit us up. It's easy for us to sit down, set up some time, and tell you more about how we're feeling and how we could progress in this industry. And that's really what it's about. We're not trying to regress.
Not at all. Not at all.
And we want to hear your perspectives too, because just what we're talking about, if they get closed off, we don't want to be closed off to ideas and new visions and all that. So please,
different ways of thinking about things.
Or share
historical things that are, like I said, that are blockages or things that you just couldn't get around. Like, share it. We're here for it.
Thanks.
All right, y'all.
All right.
You know what it is. More Watts.
More Watts. Peace.